Hey, what's up? This is Ian. I'm gonna walk and talk here. It's probably gonna be a little shaky, and we're in New Hampshire. It's actually looking over towards Vermont over there. See how you see your vision look all right. And this is kind of gnarly looking pasture for something. Anyway, so what not to do after college. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about what to do after college and what not to do after college. You can take whatever I say here with a grain of salt, and yeah. So what not to do? I'd say don't listen to everybody else. Be careful. Probably windy. Sorry about that. Be careful who you take advice to. Oh, number one, I would say this. Don't try to have it all figured out. It's okay. You're young. You're like, what, 20? Somewhere probably between 22 and 25 or something like that. Don't try to have it all figured out. I graduated when I was 23. Other thing, you could change. Over time, people do change. You know? So don't try to have it all figured out. Don't put any more pressure on yourself. If other people are putting pressure on you, then, well, I don't know. I'm not the kind of guy that likes that sort of thing, so I'm like, just leave me alone. So, careful who you take advice from. Don't do what everybody else is doing. I think a large part of going to college is about that too. It's about social pressure and don't do what everybody else is doing. Try different stuff out. Don't be afraid to try something new. Move somewhere new. I've lived in 7 U.S. states and 4 different countries, and I've traveled a lot, like around North America, Europe, and Asia. So it's a good time to mess up, to make mistakes and try stuff out, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. So try new things out. I don't know, move to a different city, move to a different country. I lived in Japan, China, Korea, and Taiwan. After college, I kind of lived in, I graduated college from Northern Arizona University. I studied art in university, so I'm kind of a creative thinker, I think, to some extent. And probably not too, I'm not extremely orderly person. More of the learn by trial and error type, and somewhat spontaneous and just kind of creative thinking, open-minded kind of guy. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So, no pressure. Try different stuff out. There's no need to think you need to have it all figured out. So after college, what I did. So here's an advice. Do what you want. Do more of the things that you like to do. Do more of the things you like to do and less of the things you don't like to do. And that's a good, I think that's a good recipe for success. I think that's going to get you at least closer to your dreams and stuff, whatever they are. Do more of what you like to do and less of what you don't like to do. So after college, I wanted to snowboard. I wanted to check out more of the USA. I wanted to check out more of the mountains, like in the West, Rocky Mountains. And so I went up with my girlfriend at the time. We moved to Missoula, Montana. Oh, this just reminded me of another thing. At first, we were kind of like debating, do we go to Bozeman, Montana, or Missoula, Montana? And I like Bozeman a little bit better than Missoula. She liked Missoula a little bit better. I also had a friend better snowboarding in Bozeman than, in that area anyways, than around Missoula. She had a friend, before I forget it, I just got all these ideas in my head. Don't do what your girlfriend wants to do, or don't do what your boyfriend wants to do. Be careful about that. Now, things happen in life and yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, so I went to Missoula with her, and it's okay, but, yeah, I think I really wanted Bozeman more. My other college friend was also going to Bozeman. So that's part of another reason why I wanted to go to Bozeman. Yeah, so no regrets. I guess you gotta kind of try to stick to what you want to do. And as long as you're not hurting anybody or bothering anybody, try to stay close to that. There's going to be a conflict. Like if your boyfriend or girlfriend wants to do this and you want to do that, then you got a problem right there. Like, how are you going to resolve that? It's not a problem now. It's going to become a problem. Anyway, so I was in Missoula. I was there for a year. Really, wow, look at that. Let's check this out. See the skull? What kind of animal that is? Ooh, bones, man. Bones. What the hell was I gonna say? Oh, I met this guy I went to college with in Missoula. He's actually the guy taught me how to snowboard. First time I ever went snowboarding was actually in my freshman year in college. I went to Brevard College in western North Carolina. It's kind of in the mountains. And I learned how to snowboard. And then I was like, all right, I want to go out west. So I transferred to Flagstaff, Arizona, which is it's a nice place. It's like 7,000 feet, and then the mountains there go up to 12,000 something. Pretty decent snowboarding, like when there's good snow there. Anyways, after Missoula, my girlfriend and I, we moved to a small town near Mount Hood, Oregon. So at the time, yeah, I was into painting. Like I in college, I studied fine art, and I was interested in painting, being an artist. So that's what I was pursuing. And I had some shows in Seattle, and previously in Arizona, Scottsdale. And anyways, we moved to, let me double check here. This video is working or not. Or I'm just talking to myself. So lame, talking to myself. Anyways, but what do you think of these Christmas decorations? A little tacky if you ask me. So we moved to that area. It's called Welch's. It's a really small town, mountains. So yeah, it's kind of, for me, it was like doing what I wanted to do mostly. I like the mountains. I like snowboarding. I like nature. I wanted to check these places out. So that's what I did. Then I was there for a year. And then my girlfriend and I, we split up. Tension kind of started, I think, in Missoula. I think I was lonely, missing my college friends and stuff. So just feeling a little bit like clamped down or something. And then I decided to go back to Flagstaff, and I was there for a year, and it was cool being around my friends and stuff. Painting went good there. I made a bunch of pretty cool body of work when I was there that year. I felt pretty good. That was good. I got a show in Santa Fe, and actually I moved to Santa Fe the next year. So living in Santa Fe for a year, doing more snowboarding. I worked up at the ski area. I had a good time. It was actually the best year snowboarding I ever had. It's just as far as fun. Like other years I was in other places, but just like the community I found up there was great. People were really cool. Snowboarding was fun. Actually, I don't know, I made a lot of progress that year too as a snowboarder. My best year for trickery yet. Although, far from a pro or anything like that. It's so crazy how snowboarding crazy has gotten, actually. All the tricks they're doing nowadays. This was a long time ago. So I'm 45. I'll add that in there. So this was a while ago. This was like Santa Fe circa 2002. After that, what did I do? Went back to Oregon for a summer. I lived out in the woods. I wanted to snowboard. Up in Oregon, you can snowboard in the summertime on Mount Hood. So I wanted to do that. So I did that. And for summer. And then I think at the time I was trying to get into some art residency in France or something. And that didn't work out. I was a little bit confused what to do. And so I had a truck at the time. And my brother gave me up in Alaska. Took a great trip up there. Yeah, I really recommend you to travel. What to do after college, university. Travel is a great thing. Yeah, then what? Went back to New Hampshire, lived with my parents, which is actually where I am right now. I've done that a few times. I just made a video on my other channel about that called Should You Live With Your Parents or Go Home and Live With Your Parents, something like that. That's another topic. So, and then I was there for a few years. And in the meanwhile, I had been to Europe a few times too. And I went, that looks nice, huh? I got one of those Euro passes when I was in Flagstaff a few years before, or whenever I had met someone I liked and someone new I liked, and I want to go to Europe and see her, and so I did. And I traveled. I've been to Europe on three different occasions. Spent about 6 months there total. Traveling is just really cool, man. It just kind of opens up your mind a bit. And then along the way traveling, I was kind of like, all right, I want to live abroad. I haven't been to Asia yet. I really want to go to Asia. How am I going to do that? I had an old friend from Brevard College, North Carolina. He was from Korea, actually. Around that time, he was trying to get me to go to Korea to teach English. And I was like, teach English? I don't think so. And so the kind of thought remained. Then I was in Czech Republic traveling once. The teaching English thing came up again. Sat in on a class. Watched someone teach. Didn't take the job. Went back to New Hampshire. And then I was like, all right, I want to go to Asia. So I decided I was going to go to Taiwan. So did my research, pulled the trigger, bought a ticket to Taiwan. Now this channel that I'm putting this video on, there's a lot of videos about teaching English in Asia. There's videos, they're how-to videos. My website, eslinsider.com, is like my project I've been working on for 10 years. Lots of information about that, how-to videos, courses, a blog. I'll put some related links in the description, or you can search it out, ESL Insider. So, bam, we went to Taiwan, and I had no job lined up. Just did my research, and went there, and there's a little process to get a little hard getting started, but we did. Got a visa. Lived in this, moved to this, I had an old college friend from Arizona that was living up there, and I'm still going okay here. And I didn't go to the city he was at. I wanted to try out another city. That's kind of me, like I'm a little bit bent on doing things my way, and so I did that. I went to Taichung. I was there for a year. It's kind of a big city. It's 1 million people. This is my first time really living in a big city before. The biggest city prior to that was probably, all right, dude, chill out. I don't know what his problem is. Biggest city was like either Santa Fe or Flagstaff. It really is not big, like maybe 60,000 or something. But Taichung, that was like massive city. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of telling you my story. And because this is what I did after college, it's not necessarily what you want to do. I think I've kind of basically said my main things what to do. Careful who you take advice with. Don't try to have it all figured out. Try stuff, do stuff. That's what I really advise. It's my first time ever up here. Kind of grew up not far from here. Walking distance, got my skateboard. So, I guess it depends what you value, like money, status, like all that stuff. If you value all those things, okay, go get it. But I don't. So how I look at it as, you got to find something you like to do. And sometimes it's hard. I've done all kinds of random odd jobs. If you study art, you're going to have it. Well, maybe you won't. I don't want to say you're going to. But I think the case is for a lot of artists, it's kind of tough. A lot of people get a degree and they just don't do anything related to the degree. There's like 40, 50%, 40% people work in jobs that don't require a degree. I'm going to make another video about that. These are kind of problems. Big debt. Lots of us have big debt. I still have debt. So what do you do after college? So that's another thing. Yeah, you want to pay some debt off. You have debt. Teaching in Korea. Actually, Korea is where you can teach anywhere in Asia and make money and save money. For beginners, teaching in Korea is a pretty good bet. I don't recommend you to go anywhere just for the money, though, because you can still do pretty good in other places. And if you just do it, sorry about the wind, it's probably noisy sounding. If you just do it for the money, any job for the money, you're not going to be happy. I know, because part of the reason why I went to Korea was, I was curious about it. I was really amped up at that time of my life on saving money, making money. So knowing just my luck, though. So I went to Korea. Again, usually most people get a job. You can line up a job and housing and all that ahead of time. Most people do that in Korea. You can also go there if you're the more adventurous type like I am. There's also certain benefits. I made a few videos and blog posts about all this stuff I'm talking about, to going there and looking. So that's what I did. And I found a pretty good job teaching where I wanted to be, Busan, downtown Busan, another big city, 3.5 million people. Taiwan I taught in Taichung and Tainan, both close to 1 million. Anyways, and so in Korea you can make, you can save $1,000 a month. You can save $1,000 a month in Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. It's probably the easiest to do that in Korea for beginners anyways. Because you get a bunch of benefits in Korea. They'll pay for your ticket there, like up front. Of course, if you mess around, they're going to take it. You quit before 6 months, they'll take it out of your paycheck. But, and you get free housing. So it's a good deal. No free housing in Taiwan. That's extremely rare anyways. In China, sometimes there's free housing. Often not in the big cities. Some big city jobs in China can pay quite a bit. Others, not so much. China varies a lot. Salaries, Korea's pretty much there's a salary range across the board. It's pretty steady. Not that much variability. Nothing's really changed since I remember first started looking at it 12, 14 years ago. What else? Japan. Japan's great. I just came from Japan. I lived in Japan for about 18 months on a cultural visa and practicing judo. That's another thing too. There's other volunteer opportunities. You look up like these sites. I just forgot the name. What's it called? Not Greenpeace. Woofing. Woofing's one. Like you work on farms, and sometimes you do some work, and they'll provide you with free accommodation. and sustenance. Woofing's one. It's another site too. Hosteling, like sometimes you can get jobs in hosteling, in hostels, like temp jobs, just working. You clean beds and stuff like that. So you can kind of sometimes travel around the world that way and make. I never did it. I always thought about doing it when I was traveling. But it's a way to make money. But teaching English is more of like a thing you settle down. It's more of a settle down kind of thing. You got to sign a contract for a year most of the time. There are a few short-term, like 6-month positions, or you can always try to look for like some part-time job or substitute position, but kind of it's a little bit harder to do. Anyways, most jobs are for like a year, working a year, sign a contract, and so it's kind of stable job. Depends on the school, but a lot of time you don't really get that much vacation. Looking backwards here, power lines. I know where these power lines go if I took them, but I'm not gonna. Still hunting season. You can see this hunter here. Gonna go out there. But so teaching English, it's an opportunity. It's a job, though. I like to tell you ahead of time. It's not traveling. Like if you like traveling, like teaching English abroad, I've made some videos about this and written about this too. Please don't shoot me, man. Made some videos about this too, and it's a job. It's work. Like, yeah. You guys get it. That's kind of scary looking. It's work. Like teaching is like it's not that easy, you know. Like, hopefully this guy hasn't had a bad day. He doesn't want to take me out. Like everything about, a lot of people get into teaching abroad because they're into the travel. Like me too. That's why I did it. But it was like a shock. Like it was hard. So my whole website all kind of started, ESL Insider, all kind of started around that idea. Like, it was really hard for me. You know, maybe even harder for me than other people just because of who I am. I'm not an especially talkative person or articulate person or very sociable. Yeah. So, but what I learned in the long run is here, anybody can learn how to teach, but most of us and most of the people that end up teaching abroad aren't natural teachers, but it's a skill you can learn. And yeah, so back then too, there just wasn't online. Like I started in 2004 teaching, like wasn't that many resources available, not like now. So what I learned is the easiest way to teach is by watching other teachers. So, and you just need to know a lot of activities. You need to mix your lesson up to make it, and then you got to be, you're like part sort of entertainer, part educator, part policeman, because a lot of you're going to end up teaching kids, assuming you end up teaching kids or teaching English, you're going to end up teaching kids, and kids are like, now they're my favorite age group to teach. But when I started, I pretty much really didn't like it. They can be a handful. They're high energy. They have a short attention span, and they're not tame. They're not like adults. Like, you know, you can kind of reason with an adult most of the time. But kids, like, they're on a whole other level. So yeah, it's challenging. So I recommend you definitely do some research and check out my site. Of course, I'm promoting my own thing right now, but even this channel, this YouTube channel, you look at all the videos, look at go to the channel, search the channel for how-to videos, start learning some stuff. Now, if you want to like take a course and go deeper, I've created some courses, really visual courses, really active courses that just like show you what to do. Probably a deer path. It's pretty cool, huh? Lots of deer paths around here. There's lots of deers. My English is impeccable, huh? Around here. It's kind of nice spot. Nice little pond there. Hold on a second here. I'm gonna switch hands because my hand's like frozen. Let's see. Yeah, sorry, I guess I can't really switch hands right now. Nice clouds. So what do you do after college? I kind of went off on a tangent there and teaching English. That's one thing you can do. I don't know what to say. Like, I think I pretty much said everything. I'm just kind of talking at this point. And probably the most value that you could have gotten out of this video, you probably already got it. So I was just telling my experience. I guess I'll continue on in my experience. So I taught in Korea for 3.5 years. I taught in China. I taught mostly in Busan. And for more than 2 years. I lived there for more than 2 years. And then I moved to a smaller city called Changwon, which was like only like maybe 500,000 people. It's kind of nice in the mountains. Not far from Busan. Then I went to China for about 6 months, to Shanghai, massive city. It's pretty interesting. China was more interesting than I thought it would be, more free than I thought it would be. Like, you think communist country, maybe skateboards, like is more free than I thought it would be. Like, there are people smoking weed like in bars and stuff, or smoking hash in bars, and I was like, whoa, I'm in China? Like, I never see that in Korea. Like Korea, like, you can get, it's like a book, a guy who had like a little bit of hash and he got caught and he spent like 4 years in jail. Same with all of East Asia, is like they're very strict drug laws. So yeah, something to think about. Like, of course, I'm from the USA, and different states have different laws about marijuana, but now it's getting looser, more liberal. I live in San Francisco from 2008 or 2013 to 2018, and very liberal place for marijuana. You can buy. It started off, you needed a medical card, and I had one of those, but they gave them away pretty easily. And then it switched to like, you just show up your ID, you can walk into a cafe, and you can buy marijuana and various forms of cannabis, hashish. What's the other stuff I never tried, like dabs or all these things. I'm a pretty open-minded person. Like, as far as marijuana goes, or psychedelic drugs go, I think they're all within reason and not really that addicting. Anyways, there's another little tangent. So I was in China for 6 months, and then I just got burnt out. I got sick of living in Asia. I almost slipped the F word there. I'm sick of living in Asia, and I just wanted to go home, I think. Kind of happened a few times. So I went back to New Hampshire. I was in New Hampshire for a few years. And I decided, well, another thing I always wanted to do was live in San Francisco. So I said, all right, let's go to San Francisco. I was there. At that time, I saw some other people doing some street performing things, and I thought it was pretty cool. You know, because I like art and stuff like that. Some people see it as a big status thing, like, oh, you're a street performer, you're a bum. Some people really like that. I'm not. I think art is art, and street performing can be really cool. So I got into that, and I was doing that. Although I was always kind of disappointed with what I did, and I have a new idea. Let's see if I ever, for my turntables and taking a show out, and we'll see what happens in the future with that. I got a few ideas, but I did street performing for a few years. Well, no, I did it for like 5 years, and working on my website. So I started my website around 2010 when I was in Korea. I started making all these videos, how-to videos. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And then a few informational ones about teaching in Asia. And then check in, seeing if we have. This is a long video, man. So where was I? China. So I was in San Francisco for till 2008, 5-6 years. And then again, it was kind of like, what do I do? I'm kind of sick of San Francisco. Okay, there's another place I've always wanted to live. And that was Japan. And I was like, I always wanted to live in Japan. I like Japan. You know, I had visited when I was in Korea, did some visa runs there. Yeah, I also went to Thailand one time. So then I went to Japan. Again, this time, around that time, my website was doing pretty good, and I was able to live off it. And I was like, all right. Oh, and while I was in San Francisco, I started training BJJ and judo, because that's what I wanted to do. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So I found out in Japan, I kind of went there. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. I just had a tourist visa. Made some videos about this. You want to move to Japan, how to do it cheaply. Search this channel and you find a video about that. It's kind of a nice sign, 114. Kind of a nice house. If I was to ever have a house, I wouldn't build one like that, but it looks nice. It's like clean. They got some nice trees here. Nice piece of property. I like that kind of rolly background. That's pretty cool. Yeah, explore stuff, you know, like even this, like, so I'm going to point out when I was 14 years old until I was like 18, and then like a few years after college, or I came back here, I don't know. I've lived around here a total of like 8 years of my life, but I never actually came up this part of the road. And it's nice up here, you know? So, I don't know, sometimes even around your own neighborhood, there's something you can explore and check out that's new. So, I don't know, I like exploring, I like traveling, I like hiking. So, where was I in my experience? I went to Japan. I got a cultural visa. I was pretty psyched about that. And then what? So I was in Japan all the way up until about 2 months ago, and I came back to the USA. I was in Japan for about 20, I don't know, getting close to 2 years. And fungus. And I got a little just kind of bored with it, to be honest with you. I like Japan. I lived in Fukuoka. Pretty nice city, but I would not go back. I'm kind of like done with cities, I feel like. At least temporarily. Or the next place I go to is definitely going to be closer to the nature. Because that's kind of what I was craving. Part of me was craving coming home here, being in the nature like this. I think ultimately I'll end up in a place probably more like this than some big city. Yeah, maybe it's because that's just how I was raised, but I just like nature, you know. It's like kind of more my tempo. I just feel a little more connected here. Big busy city is just like crowded, chaotic. So I left Japan like right around the coronavirus epidemic, and you know, it just got a little colder, a little more lonely, no more judo, no more jiu-jitsu, all that was canceled. My Japanese classes were canceled. So I was living an isolated, lonely life there, and I just got kind of drab. And I could have got a job there teaching around that time. My website started to kind of putter and fail. And yeah, just people weren't traveling, they weren't teaching abroad, people weren't spending money, and that affected me. And so I decided to come home. And so here I am again. So that's my story. It's kind of a long one. Went off on a whole lot of tangents. And I think it's just about, now do I have any regrets? So I'm 45. Do I have any regrets? Well, I got to be honest with you, right? Are there things I would do differently? Yeah, I might. I know, because a little bit, I think more art. I need more art in my life. I need to be more productive. I feel most proud of myself when I make art. Now, I know other people don't think that, may not think that way. And for some people are really pragmatic. They're kind of like, what's the point, man? What is this? This is weird. So, but some people, creative types, open-minded types, they like art. And I'm like one of those types of people. So if I was going to have a regret, it might be something around that I haven't done much. I think I've done some, give myself a little credit, like on my website. Sometimes I do creative stuff. I make sometimes creative videos, or it's a different sort of, what was it, like Jordan Peterson was saying, like artists and entrepreneurial types are kind of similar that way. So just creating something, sometimes I like creating, sometimes I like writing, but like the writing or, it's not like something I'm proud of, but sometimes I make cool stuff that I'm proud of. And a lot of time, to be honest with you, I make stuff that I think sucks. And I'm like not proud of. And as my mother said, I was always kind of destructive about my art when I was a kid. Like I'd rip shit up and get angry and stuff. And yeah, I've destroyed some things that I made. So that's, yeah, I don't know. Scatter. I'm a little bit scattered. So that's like maybe a regret, I could say. I'm a little bit scattered. I could probably do a little bit better focusing on, well, I don't know. Life's long, so it's like my road's been I've done a lot as far as like traveling, moving around, 7 U.S. states, 4 countries, and then traveling a bunch. I didn't do the things like settle down, get married, have kids. I suppose that's something like people want or thinking about after college. So if it's what you want to do, like do it, Like if your friends say you're too young or too whatever, like let's check these mushrooms out. I like mushrooms. These look pretty cool. I wonder what kind of mushroom that was. Whoa, look at these mushrooms. I wonder, they look like oyster mushrooms. And if I had a free hand, I might pick a few. You can, a kind of oyster, a little bit different. You can eat these if they are oyster mushrooms. There were some, but these are a different kind. I'm not gonna pick them this time. So, yeah, oyster mushrooms. Yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of my spiel. This is gonna be the longest video I've made ever. It's just kind of like, I'm just kind of lonely talking to you, if anybody's still listening at this point. It'll probably run out when I run out of space, so that could happen with this video. It's really nice up here, though. Happy I came up here. This road is supposed to lead me to another road that I know. Hopefully, anyways. Sometimes you don't know. Like, it's just like, you don't have to have all the answers. That's another thing I didn't mention. Uncertainty. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out, like I said. And anything you're going to do, you're going to feel you're probably going to feel uncertain about it at first. You're probably going to have doubts about it. I can't tell you how many times I've had doubts and like, oh, should I do that or should I not do that? And you pretty much have it right up until you do it. And then when you do it, everything changes. Yeah, so that's the good news. So you just kind of got to push through the doubt and act in spite of the fact you feel doubt. Like a man of knowledge lives by acting. Okay, that's a quote I always remembered. I read it before. A man of knowledge lives by acting. So that's what I say. The more you do, the better off. Not by thinking about acting. I forgot the second part. The second part was, so it's this. A man of knowledge lives by acting, not by thinking about acting. Oh. All right, looks like I'm probably going to run out of space here or something. I don't know what that beeping noise was. Man of knowledge. All right, you already heard it. I already told you. You know what it is. So just do stuff. That's all